We try and get you to look at texts in new ways from angles you might not have approached them before. So I'm going to give you some examples. In your first year, you'll study Renaissance sonnets. And one of the things we ask you to do, besides read them and read criticism about them and learn about their invention and their historical context, is we ask you to actually write a sonnet. And there is something about writing a sonnet that gives you an understanding of its form and of its structure that you can't possibly get just from reading it in a detached way. You'll know about the meter and the rhythm and the movements. And what happens too, this is the sort of fringe benefit, is that students tend to produce, some of them, absolutely fantastic sonnets, hilariously funny sonnets, poignant sonnets, and it's really a high point of the first term here. You're not marked on them, so you can really be free. When we get to Shakespeare, the same thing holds. We teach Hamlet, and we teach you all the sort of literary approaches. We have you look at criticism. But the other thing we do is we introduce you to what we call performative criticism, which is Hamlet interpreted through performance in the form of 2 films. So when we come to look at film performative criticism of Hamlet, we're not simply looking at how a character might say the lines, or even things like costume or production design or what historical period it's in. We go beyond that. We look at things like how music or camera angle or lighting open up a text. We get you to try and think beyond heavy-duty solid semantics and into some more capacious and multifaceted intermedial interdisciplinary approaches to Hamlet. And we believe that that gives you insights that you wouldn't normally have just from thinking about a more limited array of aspects. Another example is when we come to talk about the Victorian novel, our theme is the fallen woman. And we set Victorian fallen women in dialogue with a neo-Victorian novel, John Fowles's French Lieutenant's Woman. This was written in the 1960s, and in the 60s people were reacting against Victorianism. They saw it as a very repressed kind of period, and there is a dialogue that goes on between Victorian texts and neo-Victorian texts that, again, we feel opens up new ways of approaching literature, gets you to think about things in different contexts, and stretches your mind and makes you a better scholar of English.